talking to folks. I wish the same thing too. And I want to say this and I'm going to leave it alone because I've told her the same thing. Them people are not for you. Them people is not for her. And the people that's in her ear and the people that she's speaking to is not for you. They can't stand your parents for whatever reason. That ain't got nothing to do with them. And they just want to be nosy and get information from you. I told her this. There ain't nothing new what I'm telling y'all. Them people is not for you. Them are demons on the internet trying to get information.
Before we dive into the many faces of Briana, let's talk about Ciera's live really briefly from today. She actually admitted that she told Desharia that these people online don't mean her any good and that they just hate her parents and are fishing for information. And honestly, I was surprised but glad to see her say that because it shows that she's at least trying to discourage the behavior this time around, unlike times before. It almost feels like Ciera is finally getting tired of the saga and all of the shenanigans. But then again, who really knows? Because just like Briana, Ciera's moods and perspectives seem to shift depending on what she needs at that time or in that current moment. Briana likes to use role switching as a strategy, for instance. She's a Christian when she's in trouble, right? Whenever there's a court date, scandal, or rumors about her personal life, Briana likes to flood her socials with scriptures, prayers, and God's got me content. And this is damage control disguised as faith because it softens the public perception and it shifts focus from accountability and positions her as protected rather than guilty. It gives her engagement because people either praise her for turning to God or they criticize her for being performative. Either way, it gets people talking. Her next role is she's a victim when she's challenged in any way. If she's exposed or publicly criticized, she pivots into a victim narrative. And she claims that she's, somehow betrayed or alleges abuse or unfair treatment and or being misunderstood. And this triggers sympathy and draws in supporters who want to defend her, especially women who have faced things like DV or toxic relationships. So the engagement creates emotional investment and people feel like they must pick a side, preferably Briana's. Another role that Briana seems to switch to is boss mom when she needs validation. She will post about being a strong, independent mother, flaunt her degrees, or brag about her ability to provide. And then this usually comes after people call her out for bad choices in men, drama, or parenting decisions. So by playing the boss mom, she tries to reassert her dominance and prove that the critics are wrong. And so the engagement rallies women who want to cheer her on for her quote unquote strength while fueling debate from those who see through it. And lastly, she loves the role of influencer when she needs income. And this is why we keep seeing recycled content, fake smiles, promo codes, and scripted products that she's pushing, to show up and sell. And it's not authentic passion, it's survival because content equals cash. And when she needs money, she forces the influencer role. The engagement for these posts don't hit as hard as they used to, but they do keep her in the algorithm and they give her brand or quote unquote brand the appearance of consistency. So why does this work short term but fail long term? Because the short term game is that each identity attracts a different type of crowd and it creates spikes in her attention. But the long term damage is that the constant switching destroys her credibility. The audience doesn't know which version of Briana is real, and so some stop trusting her altogether. This is a textbook case of performative identity shifts, which is when someone uses roles as tools for survival and engagement rather than authentic reflections of themselves. It also creates a case of fear of abandonment because if one identity doesn't keep people's attention, then Briana quickly shifts to another, which keeps the followers hooked through all of the emotional ups and downs. And we can't leave out that it's also transactional relationships with the audience, because every role is designed to get something, whether that's protection, validation, sympathy, or money. In essence, Briana doesn't just switch roles randomly. She does it strategically, depending on what she needs in the moment. The problem is that audiences are catching on, and every switch makes her look less genuine. She pulls at different emotions from the audience. She's a Christian to trigger hope and inspiration. She's a victim to trigger sympathy or anger at men or the system. She's a boss mom to trigger admiration and empowerment or validation from the crowd. And then she's an influencer to trigger something called consumerism. And, for the followers to buy whatever she's trying to sell or promote, or to just simply buy into her lifestyle. This just shows that she's not just role switching, she's emotional switching her audience on command. She treats her followers the same way she treats men, always shifting to whatever role works best to get control, attention, or resources. That consistency shows it's not coincidence, it's a behavior pattern. Constantly changing masks creates confusion and fatigue. And some people stay hooked because they're trauma bonded to the roller coaster, but others check out completely. And that's why her engagement feels inconsistent, because some people see through it and others fall for it. Brands notice when an influencer's audience doesn't trust them, and it creates credibility leaks that catch up over time. Respectfully.